Hello. It's been 20 years since I joined the media. And in 20 years, the media has changed tremendously. When I joined, there was one television channel, private sector television channel, ZTV. And we learned skills on the job. We came with our masters, we joined the company, we learned skills. And over the period of the next 10 years, we learned more and more skills as we went along. Today, the world has changed. We have 1,000 television channels, and I think currently there are 300 channels awaiting a license. I'm not really sure of the exact figures, but there's a huge number of channels up there. You know, if you surf on your DTH or your cable, you know how many channels there are. They all need papers. You have newspapers. India is the only country that's bucking the trend worldwide in terms of print consumption going up. You have papers in small towns. You have village level papers. Of course, you have newspapers at the city level. And then there is the entire website space. And I'm calling it website and not digital right now because there's a big difference. We stopped counting websites. We don't know how many websites there are. And there is no point counting them because by the time you finish counting, some 1,000 more are added. Now, beyond this, there is the Government of India talking about the National Optic Fiber Network, which will deliver services across India. There's going to be a tremendous amount of content required. All kinds of content. News content, entertainment content, information content, content about rights, content about what the government is offering you, schemes and so on. And the big problem that I'm facing right now, and I'll tell you a story. Last night we finished work at 10:30. We were doing our plans for the next year and we're talking about next 2 years. And we're talking about which area should we develop in terms of content. And the major sticking point is not investment, it's not leadership, it's not vision, it is where are the people. Okay? When I started teaching 10 years ago at Mumbai University, when they began the BMM program, 17 colleges offered BMM. And those students would be picked up like this. The moment they graduated as undergrads, they would be picked up. Today there are 70 odd colleges in Mumbai offering BMM, and the students are unemployable. Okay, I teach BMM, I've been teaching it for the last 10 years, and I tell my HR, Bachelor of Media, Mass Media, I tell my HR, please don't hire them because they know nothing. So the starting point is I've been working with the university in terms of curriculum development and trying to make sure it is more industry focused and so on. But there is a major problem. We are busy as a system trying to churn out students. Those students don't have the skills that we require. So what do I need for news? Currently, right now as we speak, I'm putting in place digital plans to put up digital newspapers in each of the 543 parliamentary constituencies. I have 31 constituencies live right now. If I had the people, I'll make them all live tomorrow morning. So there are no people. What are the skills that they lack? At the first level, they lack domain knowledge. If you're a journalist, if you're a political journalist, I don't expect you to know English and Marathi. I need you to know politics. I need you to know political structure. I need you to know how Vidhan Sabha works. I need you to know the role of the speaker. I need you to know the practical part. I need you to know about caste equations. Okay, I need you to know about regional disparity. Okay. Your English language communication skills, your Hindi language communication skills, Marathi are secondary. But the first is domain knowledge. You need to know domain knowledge. The second thing I need you to know is definitely language. Now the language that I'm teaching students in, I think Shakespeare would be proud of. The English is the English I learned in school. The Marathi is the Marathi my business partner's parents learned in school. It is 40 years, 50, people don't speak that way anymore. If you see the Hindi in television or the Hindi which is spoken in newspapers, it's a very different Hindi. The Hindi in TV is heard a lot more, it's Boli Bhasha. Okay? So the second thing we need to move away from is the rigidity of language, which for us has to be pure. But people don't use language that way anymore. The third thing is innate leadership. People have been trained to agree and accept everything. Okay? They're trained to be drones. The world has changed. When we're talking about leadership skills, the leadership skills are not just at the top. We need leaders at every level. I need my entry-level person to be able to make decisions, because if they come to me every 5 minutes asking me to make a decision, I might as well do the job myself. And that's happening all the time. So I need the students who are coming out to have confidence. And the last thing is this, that as employers, what we are trying to do is to look beyond the top schools. We are very clear that top schools, children expect something completely different. And what has happened is the moment we began going to regional language schools, regional language colleges, suddenly my output, I'm finding a lot more attractive talent. The one big question my teams have is, madam, their English is not good, or their Hindi language writing is not good. We can fix that. We can fix that temporarily. So what do we need from industry? What do we need from academia? We need more structured curriculum. We need curriculum that changes rapidly, every 2 years, every 3 years, because a year and a half ago when I rejoined Z, the digital space that existed, and 1.5 years later, the digital space that exists are two very different things. The world is moving very, very rapidly, and skills need to move rapidly. Number two, I need them to have good communication skills, some amount of self-confidence, some level of leadership skills. Number three, good writing skills, observation skills. If you're going to be a journalist, you need to observe. You can't be a frog in the well. You need to know what's happening outside, and you have to be curious about people. If you're not curious, you are not going to be able to be successful in this business. Whether you are in entertainment, whether you are in news, it doesn't matter. You've got to be curious. And for some reason, our education system, and this is something that was not so bad when we were in school, our education system tries to take away the curiosity from young boys and girls. And lastly, what they need to do is to, and this is going to be a very big thing going forward, is we think of degrees and diplomas as the end of education. But the way the world is changing, we need refresher programs throughout. Whether it is students, whether it is teachers, whether it is media professionals, whether it is IT professionals, the skills you had last year are probably obsolete this year. So we need to work we need to work together to find out what those skills are and see if we can do a very structured method of retraining people so that they remain relevant for the next 40 years. I think that's going to be very crucial going forward.